1. Introduction. My name is Della. My life has always been simple, and I liked it that way. I own a small bakery on a quiet street in the middle of town. The bakery is my favorite place in the world. It has a big window at the front and a little blue door. Inside, it always smells warm, like fresh bread and sweet sugar. I wake up before the sun rises to start baking. I love the quiet mornings when the town is still asleep. My work makes me happy. I know most of my customers, and they feel like family to me. For a long time, my bakery was my whole life, and I was content with that. Then, everything changed. A man named Will started to visit my bakery every morning. He worked in an office nearby. He was tall, with a kind smile and soft brown hair. At first, he just bought 2 croissants and a black coffee. But soon, we started to talk more each day. He asked me about my baking. I asked him about his work. He told funny stories that made me laugh out loud. I looked forward to his visits. His 10-minute stop at my bakery became the best part of my day. It did not take long for our friendship to become love. Being with Will felt easy and natural. He was gentle, and he always listened to my thoughts. I felt completely safe and understood when I was with him. Our romance was fast and exciting. After just 6 months of knowing each other, he asked me to marry him. My heart was full of joy, and I said yes without thinking for a second. We had a small, lovely wedding with our closest friends and family. Our first year as husband and wife was perfect. We were so happy together. We made a comfortable home. Every night, I would bake a special loaf of bread just for him, and the smell would fill our house. Every morning, he would kiss my forehead before he left for his office. We shared everything. We talked for hours about our dreams for the future. We planned to travel to Italy and maybe have children one day. I believed our bond was the strongest thing in the world. I thought our love was unbreakable, a perfect story that would last forever. I did not know that some stories have secret chapters you never expect to read. 2. The other woman. At first, Will often talked about Clara. He called her his work wife. I thought it was a funny name. Many people have special friends at their jobs, so I did not worry. I trusted Will completely. Our love felt strong and real. When he told stories about his day at the office, Clara's name was always there. He said they worked on important projects together and that she was very smart. He told me she helped him a lot. I would smile and listen to his stories. I was happy that he had a good colleague. I did not see any problem with their friendship. But then, things started to change very slowly. His phone was always with him. Before, he used to leave it on the kitchen table. Now he always kept it in his pocket. One night, I was reading a book in bed when his phone lit up with a message. I saw Clara's name on the screen. It was almost midnight. Will quickly grabbed the phone and said it was an important email about work. It felt strange, but I did not say anything. This started to happen more often. There were more late messages and quiet phone calls in the other room. A small, cold feeling started in my stomach, but I tried to ignore it. He also started to forget our plans. I had a big baking competition one Saturday. I practiced for many weeks and was very excited. Will promised he would be there to support me. But on the morning of the competition, he called me. "I am so sorry, Della," he said. "Clara and I have an emergency meeting. We have to finish a big report for Monday." I stood in my kitchen, holding my phone and looking at the cakes I prepared. I felt so disappointed and lonely. I told him it was okay, but it was not okay at all. He chose his work with Clara over me. More signs appeared every week. He came home late from the office most nights. The reason was always the same: meetings with Clara. Sometimes, when I did the laundry, his shirts smelled like a different perfume. It was a sweet, flowery smell that was not mine. He also started to talk about jokes that I did not understand. They were special jokes between him and Clara. I started to feel like an outsider. It was like they had a secret world, and I was not part of it. He was my husband, but he was slowly becoming a stranger to me. I tried very hard to push these feelings away. I told myself that I was being silly and that my imagination was the problem. Will was a good man, and he loved me. I did not want to be a jealous wife. So when he came home, I always smiled and asked about his day. I wanted everything to be perfect, just like it was at the beginning. I wanted to believe in our happy life together. I chose not to see the truth that was growing right in front of me. 3. The secret wedding. It was a rainy Tuesday afternoon. The bell on my bakery door rang, and my friend Maria ran inside. She was not smiling. Her face was pale, and her eyes were wide with shock. She tried to speak, but at first no words came out. I gave her a glass of water. "Maria, what is it? What happened?" I asked. She took a deep breath. "Della, I saw something terrible," she said quietly. "I saw Will." I was confused. "You see Will all the time," I said. "No," she said, shaking her head. "It was different. He was at a wedding. He was the groom." I laughed, but it was not a happy sound. "That's not funny, Maria. It must be a mistake. You saw someone who looks like him." But Maria was very serious. "It was not a mistake," she insisted. "He was marrying Clara from his office. I saw them. I'm so sorry." My heart started to beat very fast. It was not possible. Will loved me. We were married. This was a bad dream. My hands started to shake. I picked up my phone to call him. I needed to hear his voice. I needed him to tell me this was a crazy story. I called his number one time, no answer. I called a second time and then a third. He did not pick up. I sent him a message. "Please call me now." The minutes passed, but my phone was silent. I closed the bakery early that day. I could not think about bread or cakes. At home, our house was quiet and empty. I sat down at my computer with a sick feeling in my stomach. With shaking fingers, I typed Clara's name into the search bar. I found her social media page easily. There was a new photo album. The title was Our Perfect Day. I clicked on it. The first photo was of Will and Clara. He was in a black suit and she was in a beautiful white wedding dress. He was smiling at her, a smile I knew so well. I scrolled through more pictures. There they were, cutting a big wedding cake. There they were, dancing their first dance. There they were, kissing. It was all real. My world stopped. The photos on the screen became blurry as my eyes filled with tears. A deep, sharp pain went through my chest. This was not just a secret, it was a complete betrayal. My husband, the man who promised to love me forever, had another wife. I looked at the gold wedding ring on my finger. It suddenly felt cold and meaningless. All his promises were lies. Our happy life was a lie. The man I loved was a stranger, and my heart was broken into 1,000 pieces. 4. The confrontation. My heart was a heavy stone in my chest. I walked to Will's office building in the city center. It was a tall, glass building that always made me feel small. Today, I did not care. I held the printed photos of the secret wedding in my bag. My hands were cold and shaking, but my legs kept moving. I needed answers. I did not stop at the front desk. I knew the way to his office on the 10th floor. I walked past people in expensive suits. No one looked at me. I felt invisible and full of pain at the same time. I reached his door. It had his name on it, Will Thompson. For a moment, I could not breathe. Then I opened the door without knocking. Will was at his big desk, talking on the phone. He looked surprised to see me, and then he looked angry. He quickly finished his call. "Della, what are you doing here?" he asked. His voice was not warm and loving. It was cold and hard, like a stranger's voice. I did not answer him. I walked to his desk and took the photos out of my bag. I put them on the polished wood right in front of him. He looked down at the pictures of him and Clara. He was smiling in the photos, looking happy with his other wife. He did not look at me. "You can't be here," he said quietly. He was not sorry. He was worried about his job. "Explain this, Will," I said. My voice was quiet, but it was full of hurt. "Please, just explain." He finally looked at me. His eyes were empty. "Della, you don't understand," he said. It was not an explanation. It was an excuse. Tears started to fall down my face. "I understand that you are my husband," I cried, "and I see you in wedding photos with another woman. What don't I understand?" He just stood there. He had no words for me. The silence was terrible. Suddenly, the office door opened again. It was Clara. She was wearing a beautiful dress and she was smiling. She looked at Will, then she looked at me on the floor. Her smile did not go away. Then she did something that broke my heart into 1,000 pieces. She put her hand on her stomach. It was a slow, clear movement. She was pregnant. The room started to spin. My legs felt weak and I thought I was going to fall. My husband, his other wife, and their baby, my perfect life was not just a lie. It was a nightmare. 5. The lies unfold. The days after the confrontation at Will's office were quiet and empty. I stayed in our house, but it did not feel like a home anymore. The air was cold and heavy with unspoken words. Will tried to talk to me again and again. At first, I refused to listen. His voice was just noise, and his excuses felt like poison. But slowly, piece by piece, the ugly story unfolded. It was not a story of romance with another woman. It was a story of terrible ambition and carefully planned lies. Will explained everything about the big promotion at his company. It was a very important job, the kind of position that changes a person's life. It came with a lot of money and power. He said Clara was the only key to getting it. Her family was powerful and had strong connections with his boss. She made a strange and selfish deal. If Will agreed to marry her for just 1 year, his boss promised to give him the promotion. He called it a strategic agreement, like it was just business. He actually signed legal papers. He promised to be her husband for 365 days, all for his career. He tried to make me believe he did it all for us, for our shared future. He said the money from the new job would give us a better, easier life. He truly believed he could have the promotion and also keep me. He never imagined that I would find out about his secret wedding. He did not think about my heart, our trust, or my feelings at all. Every word he spoke felt like another betrayal. He did not have an affair because he loved Clara. He had an affair with success. He sold our marriage for a better title at his company. Our special vows, the promises we made in front of our friends and family, meant nothing to him. He looked at our love, our happy life together, and decided that money and power were more important. The man I married was a stranger. The pain was a physical thing inside my chest. I cried for many days and nights, feeling lost. But then, after the tears stopped, something inside me began to change. The terrible sadness was still there, but it was different. It was mixed with a new, quiet feeling. It was strength. I looked at my reflection in the window and did not see a completely broken woman. I saw a person who deserved respect and honesty. I was very hurt, but I was not weak. I knew I had to make a decision for myself, not for him. My life was my own, and I had to protect it from any more lies. 6. The decision. The house was too quiet. It was a sad, empty quiet. I could not stay there. The rooms were full of memories that were now painful. I took a small bag and packed some clothes. I did not take much. I left our wedding photos on the kitchen table. I closed the front door and did not look back. My life with Will was over. I needed to go somewhere safe. My bakery became my safe place. The warm smell of bread made me feel a little better. I worked hard from morning until night. My hands were always busy with flour and dough, which helped me to not think about Will. My friends and customers were kind. They bought extra bread and gave me warm smiles. In my bakery, I was not Will's broken wife. I was Della, the baker. Here I felt strong. Will did not leave me alone. My phone rang many times every day. It was always him. He sent long messages. "Della, please listen," one message said. "I can explain. I only love you." I read his words, but they felt empty. How could he love me and also marry another woman? It was not possible. I did not answer his calls or messages. I needed space to heal. One evening, I closed the bakery late. It was raining hard. I saw a man standing across the street. It was Will. He was standing in the rain without an umbrella. His clothes were wet, and he looked terrible. He saw me and walked towards me. My heart started to beat fast. I wanted to run, but my feet did not move. "Della," he said, his voice shaking, "please give me 5 minutes." He looked so sad that I listened. He told me everything about Clara. He said she was manipulative and wanted a promotion at work. He explained that she trapped him in a plan and he felt he had no choice. "I was stupid and weak," he cried, "but I never stopped loving you, not for 1 second." Tears ran down his face with the rain. A part of my heart hurt when I saw him. I still loved this man. I remembered our good times and his kind eyes. But then my mind remembered the lies. It remembered the pain of his betrayal. My heart whispered, "He is sorry. Forgive him." But my mind screamed, "He broke your trust. You can never trust him again." I stood there looking at my husband. I had a very difficult decision to make. 7, the truth comes out. A few weeks after Will stood in the rain outside my bakery, things changed. The lies could not stay secret forever. At Will's office, people started to talk. Someone heard a conversation between Clara and a colleague. They learned the marriage was not real. It was just a plan for a promotion. The news moved quickly through the building. Everyone soon knew about the secret agreement. The big lie was now open for everyone to see. Clara's perfect plan was falling apart. People at the office looked at her differently. They did not respect her. The news reached Will's boss. He was a serious man who did not like lies. He called Will into his office. He was very angry. He told Will that the company did not give promotions to dishonest people. Will lost the new job. He lost the power and the money. All his lies were for nothing. Will felt foolish, but also a little free. The heavy secret was gone. He did not have to pretend anymore. He knew he hurt me for a job he did not even get. Clara was furious. Her plan was a complete failure. She did not get the successful husband she wanted. She shouted at Will and said it was all his fault. She called him weak, but Will did not fight back. He just listened. He knew he was part of the problem. The next day, Clara was gone. She packed her bags and left their apartment. She did not say goodbye. She just disappeared from his life. Will was alone in the big, empty apartment that was full of lies. One morning, Will came back to my bakery. He did not look like a successful man from a big company. He looked tired and sad. He looked like the man I first met. He stood quietly by the counter and told me everything. He told me about losing the promotion and about Clara leaving. He did not make excuses this time. He did not blame anyone else. He just said he was sorry. He was so sorry for the pain he caused. His voice was quiet and full of regret. I listened to him and looked into his eyes. Before, I saw a man who was scared. Now I saw a man who was broken by his own mistakes. He was not asking me to forget. He was just telling me the truth with no more secrets. For the first time in many months, I saw real honesty in his face. He told me he loved me more than any job or any money. He said he would wait for me for as long as it takes. He just wanted me to know the full truth. 8. Love after scandal. The first few months were slow and quiet. Will did not move back into their old house. He found a small apartment near the bakery. He wanted to give Della space. Every morning, he came to the bakery to buy coffee, just like he did when they first met. He did not ask for forgiveness with big words. Instead, he showed he was sorry with small actions. He fixed a broken shelf in the shop. He helped carry heavy bags of flour from the car. He respected her silence and waited for her to be ready to talk. His patience was a promise. One evening, after 3 months, Della asked him to stay for dinner. It felt strange at first. They sat at a small table in her apartment above the bakery. They ate simple pasta and did not talk much. They spoke about the weather and a funny customer from that day. They did not talk about the past. It was too painful. But the quiet was not angry anymore. It was calm. Slowly, they started to build something new from the broken pieces of their old life. They learned to be together again, one simple dinner at a time. Their life found a new rhythm. Will started helping at the bakery on weekends. He was not a good baker, but he was a great help. He cleaned the floors, served customers with a warm smile, and made Della laugh. The people in town saw them working side by side. They saw that Della's smile was real again. Their relationship was not the fast, exciting romance it was before. It was slower and more careful. It was built on small moments of shared work and quiet understanding, not on grand promises. The pain did not disappear completely. It was a scar on their love. One afternoon, a sad song played on the radio. Della remembered dancing to it at their wedding, and her eyes filled with tears. Will saw her. He walked over, turned off the music, and gently took her hand. "It still hurts," she whispered. "I know," he said softly, "and I am sorry for that pain every single day. We don't have to pretend it is not there." This new honesty was the foundation of their future. They were not hiding from the difficult memories anymore. Their love was stronger now because it was real. It was not perfect, but it was true. Months later, they stood together in the bakery, their hands covered in flour. They were making bread together, moving around each other easily. Della looked at Will and felt a deep peace. "No more secrets," she said, her voice soft but firm. He stopped working and looked at her, his eyes full of love. He kissed her forehead. "Only love, Della," he promised. "Only you." This time, she believed him completely.